Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be low self-esteem. I've got 4 emails I'm going to go through with you today. But before we get into the first one, I've got a quote that I wrote I want to share with you. And it says, when a person feels that they have a low self-esteem, they have actually adopted a belief system and model of the world that convinces them that they deserve less than they are capable of becoming and having in life. Since they see themselves as unworthy or not as deserving as other people are, they tend to attract friends, lovers, and acquaintances into their life who will walk all over them and take advantage of them, thus fulfilling their false belief about themselves. At some point in life, every person is faced with an event or series of events where they have the opportunity to finally stand up for themselves and earn the respect that they deserve from others. People either rise to the challenge or shrink with fear. Once you get to a place of simply being no longer willing to tolerate things as they are, then you can truly liberate yourself and set yourself free. No one can do it for you. So let's get into this. I've got a young guy here. He says, "Hey coach, I'm a young student and I have a situation with my low self-esteem and allowing people to walk all over me. I come from a negative household where I try to express myself or try to stand up for myself, and the people I usually get pushed back to the ground. This has been happening since I grew up, and since I became aware of this by personal growth, I still have a lot of trouble expressing myself, standing up for myself, or even being taken seriously. Here are some examples. When I get into an argument with my father and I try to reason, speak my mind, or stand up for myself, he will always get irritated, aggressive, call me names like coward, softy, my house, my rules, etc., and push me around like it's about to become a fight." Boys, that sounds just fucking fabulous. What I learned when I was younger and I was still living with my parents is they mostly ignored me, so it was just like, fuck it, You put up with their rules, but the rest of the time, it's like, whether I was out playing in the neighborhood or it's like when I was in high school, hanging out with friends, and when I was away from my parents, I could actually be myself without them trying to beat me into submission or shame me into submission or say crappy things, how I was never going to amount to anything, that kind of stuff. So I just try to avoid the issue. And it's like you really can only influence people who are actually open to hear what you have to say. And so if your parents just aren't willing to listen to you and they think you're an idiot and they just don't care about your opinion, it's like, why beat your head against the wall? You're going to be better served to share your opinions with friends and people that you're going to meet along your journey of life who share similar goals and values that you do. And the best thing you can do to shut your parents up is to go out and be a really great kick-ass success at something in life and do something you love. Like I remember years ago, this is when I was in my 20s when I quit my job, and I was still married at the time, and I had a house payment with my wife. I quit this really good paying job, paid me, it was about $40,000 a year I was making at the time. And not only my father-in-law, but my dad was saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You're gonna lose your house. You're gonna ruin everything." And my especially towards my dad, like when he started talking, I was like, "Fuck you." It's like, you don't have any bearing on what I'm going to do. This is what I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. It's the whole reason I went through fucking 7 years of college, even though I'm not a doctor. It took me 7 years to finish my degree because I was always working, so I could get out of the house and not have to live under their roof and put up with them. And I was like, for the first year I was like 26 at the time. This is the first time I'm really have the freedom to do what I want. I'm not working for somebody else. I had my own place, and I was finally doing what I had always dreamt of doing since I was a kid. And I'm certainly not going to listen to my dad telling me how I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that. And it pretty much shut him up pretty quick. And then about 4 or 5 years later, the business had really become a success, we were talking one time, and he says, "Corey, I want you to know that I'm really proud of you." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "You're proud of me." That was like the only time in my life at that point that he had ever said I was proud of you. Because like when I was young, I used to get the shit beat out of me, or he just basically ignored me or put me down or made fun of me. Was never supportive of things that I wanted to do or the choices that I made. And that's why for most of my 20s, I didn't talk to him hardly. I just didn't inform him of what I was doing or what I was up to, because he would never have anything positive or encouraging to say. And it's like here I was like 31, 32, and he's finally saying, hey, I'm really proud of you. And that's the best thing you could do to shut your parents up, is to just not involve them in what your plans and your dreams and your goals are. Just go out and succeed in spite of them, because nobody, including your parents or even a lot of your friends and family, are going to understand your motivations for why you do the things that you do or the passions that you choose to get involved in life. The key is to do something that feels emotionally compelling to you. Like Wayne Dyer said something I thought was brilliant about children. He said, kids come through you, they don't come for you. And a lot of parents, they don't fucking get that. They think that they need to make their children into what they want them to be. But a parent's real job and role is to be a mentor, to teach them based upon life wisdom and life experience of how to achieve the things they want to achieve in life and how to become the person that they're meant to be. But most adults in this world aren't even comfortable doing what they're doing, because they've got a mask on and they're playing the role and living a life that society or other people chose for them instead of something that they freely chose, and therefore that's their belief, that's their worldview, that's their model of the world. And so they're going to project that on their kids. And the best thing you can do, like I said, is to plot and plan and scheme and get yourself in a position so when you're old enough to live on your own, when you go off to college, you can do the things that you really want to do in your life, or at least start doing that. And I know it's tough being young and having to live there and put up with that crap, but it's like you're about to graduate high school and be able to go off on your own. Hopefully you get to go off and go to college somewhere. But that's the best thing you can do, because it's like beating your head against the wall trying to convince your parents of anything. It's just avoid the issue altogether. And if your dad gets in your face, say, you're just a jerk. You bullying me? Is that how you think being an effective parent is going to be? Obviously if he's going to physically abuse you, it's like, just stay away from him and avoid the conflict. And just bide your time until you can get the fuck out of there. Because I feel for you, dude. I know what it's like. Because later on in life, when you succeed, he'll be kissing your fucking ass. He says, when I try to express myself, my brother ridicules me and puts me down, which I allowed to happen to me, and allowed myself to become insecure about expressing myself or even to be taken seriously. The same goes with my needy, negative mother when I do not live up to her standards. I'm supposed to listen to all the bullshit nagging I get every day while I'm trying to be a nice person but do not get treated the way I deserve to be treated. That's when you just leave the situation. Say, Mom, I love you, but I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me now. You're being nasty, you're being rude, you're being mean, you're being negative, and this is not going to help me become the person I'm meant to be. I need you to love me, to support me, to encourage me, to lift me up. One of the roles of a parent is to... There was a great quote. It basically said something along the lines of a parent's role is to fill a child's bucket of self-esteem up to the point that the world and other people can't knock enough holes in that cup to drain it. Say something like that to her. Because tell her, you're not helping me. You're making me feel like shit right now. This is not going to help me succeed in life, you putting me down and treating me like a piece of dog shit. So it's like if you don't have something nice or loving or kind or encouraging to say, if you're not going to tell me how you're proud of me and how much you love me, I really don't want to hear it. Save it for yourself. He says, I've let them run over me so many times that they find it normal to treat me unworthy and like crap. I did not have many friends in my childhood until I started reading your book and taking your advice on newsletters, because I was socially far below average. Which makes me fear that if I am rejected, my undeserved treatment, nobody loved me or accepted me. It's like sometimes you got to create what you want to be a part of. The idea is to keep circulating, become friendly to other people. I've done a lot of videos on improving your social skills and getting other people to like you. It's use humor and banter, and when people put you down, say, hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for those words of encouragement. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that really makes me feel good about myself, Dad. That's a way to build your son up and make him feel good about himself and help him become successful in life. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. He says, I'm doing way better now with your advice and book and my actions to grow as a man, but I still get treated unworthy by my family members, and I fear that when I stand up for myself, try to express myself, or even talk about my poor treatment, I will get put down, rejected, ridiculed, or not even listened to. I know this will happen because when I tried many times in the past, this was the outcome. And I really want to say fuck it and tell him straight up that I'm worthy to be treated as an equal human being, but I live under the same roof as these people, and they are my family. Do you have any help to help me overcome my low self-esteem and get equally respectfully treated and accepted as I deserve to be? Yeah, like I said, use sarcastic humor when your dad's putting you down. Say, thanks a lot, Dad. That really builds me up. It really makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel good about it as a human being. To know that you think I'm an absolute steaming pile of dog dung and dog shit, and you don't love me, and you don't care about me. I really fucking appreciate that. What a great fucking dad you are. This is awesome. You fucking take off, hop in your car, and fucking go and just leave the situation. Go hang out with people who celebrate you. Don't hang out with people who tolerate you. And what you got to understand is no one will ever do or say anything that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment. What's really going on with your parents is they're simply projecting their own self-hatred and self-loathing onto you. And so when they start talking to you that way, fucking hop in your car and say, thanks a lot. Thanks for the great self-esteem building talk. I'm out of here. Great talk, Dad. Great talk, Mom. Really appreciate you. I love you too. It's great. You're awesome. Thanks a lot. So let's get into the second email. This guy says, hey coach, there's a fine line between being ambitious and pursuing your life dreams and being too selfish. I'm not including opinions for others. How do you know yourself where you are venturing into being too selfish in a negative way and doing too much of what you want to do when you want to do it? You got to make you happy first. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to be happy in your friendships, in your intimate relationships, or in your career. You've got to fill your life up with people and events and things that you love, that you enjoy, and that you have a passion for. Because the quality of your life is going to be in direct proportion to the expectations of your peer group. It's also in direct proportion to the quality of the people who you consistently spend your time with. You need to hang out with people who challenge you, who uplift you, who encourage you to become a better person, a better human being. You don't want to hang out with people that are always tearing you down. Like I said, you got to do something that you really love and you really enjoy for a living. If you got people in your life that aren't supporting you, then, well, maybe you need to change your peer group. Because if you're surrounded by people who are majoring in minor things, and when they see you going for the things that you want, all they've got is a negative word, they're projecting their model of the world onto you. And you have the choice either to take that on board or to say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going to make something of myself. And if you don't have anything positive, encouraging to say, hey, look at that. The time's getting late. I'm going to leave. Call me when you are ready to be a good friend and a good person with a good, positive, encouraging word in my life. Because, at the end of the day, you can't live your life according to other people's expectations. Because no matter what you do, you're never going to be happy. It's like my mother said 10,000 fucking times. I heard this, God, it was like constantly, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all the time. The only person that you need to be focused on pleasing and making happy is yourself. Because if you can be happy, if you can do something you really enjoy for a living, look at me. I really enjoy the fuck out of what I do for a living. I think this is amazing that I can look into my camera and share my life wisdom and answer people's questions and help them look at the world in a different way so they can create a life and lifestyle that they've really always wanted, create a life of their dreams. Because this is what I've been working my whole adult life, is to do things that make me happy. And there's been lots of people on the way that treated me harshly and said a lot of negative, shitty things to me. And you know what? They ain't in my life anymore. So if you got miserable people in your life, invite them to go and fuck up and make somebody else's life miserable, because you ain't got fucking time for that bullshit. So let's move on to the third email. This guy says, hey Corey, I came across your website while searching for information on dating a new girl, and I'm impressed. I'm picking up your book when I get home a little bit later in the day, and I can't wait to dive into it head first. I'm trying to head off driving a girl away before things get too bad, and I've been casually dating a girl for about 2.5 months, And up until this past week, things were great. We were seeing each other a few times a week, plenty of sex, fun dates, etc. Both of us were suggesting dates and times to meet, so it wasn't one-sided. We've been texting a varying amount, anywhere from 2 to 3 messages to many more a day, and she would generally call or email me once a week, and she told me how she misses me when I'm not around, how handsome I am, and how wonderful I am, but I have noticed that I dropped off last week. This past week, other things changed as she started to reply to my messages less. Yeah, that's definitely a sign that she's losing attraction for you. We met up twice and didn't have sex either time. One night she was obviously tired, and the other night she wasn't in the mood, and I only heard from her once a day for 2 days at the end of the week. And I texted her first in both instances, but didn't send anything until I heard back 6 or 7 hours later. I know a mistake here. Now I know she was very busy at work in those 2 days, so it could be that. And on the second day I told her that I wanted to take her to dinner, and she called me baby and said she was exhausted and needed a night to herself. That's when you say, great, give me a call in the morning when you're all rested, sunshine, and looking beautiful and charming and sweet again, and you're ready to see me. You're ready to see your charming, handsome knight in shining armor. He says, I replied that I understood how I was tired as well, and we could go out another night. She said she was sorry, and I left it at that. The next day, after reading on your site, I didn't send her anything all day. I heard from her late that night, and she offered to bring me lunch at work the next day. I agreed and told her I would text her a time and address the next day. So the next day came. That's why you should make plans like, hey, that sounds great. I mean, that's nice that she wants to bring you lunch, but you really should be making plans to do something in the evening. You could say something along the lines of, yeah, I'm going to be real jammed up at work tomorrow, so tomorrow's not a good time during the day, but I'd love to see you for dinner. We need for you to get together, sweetheart. You make a date in the evening, hang out, have fun, and hook up. So the next day came along, which is today, and I told her to let me know what time she was going to be in the area. She flicked, so it tells me you reached out to her. She flaked, citing having to work from home, and promised to visit me at work another day soon, and threw a few babies in there. I told her no problem, and to go get to work, and that was several hours ago. Now I am assuming that I should just leave her be at this point for the rest of the day so I can make sure I'm not appearing needy and weak. My instinct is to text her tomorrow. Wrong. She blew you off, dude. She flaked on you. She said she wanted to see you, and she blew you off like you were fucking nothing. You don't call her the next day. That's just simply rewarding her behavior for disrespecting you like that. Your attitude should be like, you know what? Fuck this. She ain't making any effort. She can call me when she misses me. It might take a few days. He says, my instinct is to call her tomorrow, obviously, which is the wrong way to go, and see if she wants to do happy hour or dinner regardless of if I have heard from her or not. Abso-fucking-lutely not, dude. Notice how she was chasing you and blowing your phone up, and now you're acting like a woman running after her. And she's not interested. She's blowing you off. It's like, hello? He says, is that out of line? Yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't do it. I don't want to pull back too much or too soon and screw things up. Well, it's like you've already pursued her too much to the point where she's blowing you off and canceling get-togethers with you. You need to think about that, dude. He says, I want to eventually see this turn into a relationship. Wait to hear from her. Don't call her, don't text her, don't pursue her, don't do anything. And if she reaches out to you, be like, hey, babe, I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Make your next date and then get the hell off the phone. So let's get into the fourth and final email. This guy says, hey Corey, I'm a big fan of your videos and you've helped a lot and have improved me as a man. I've been seeing this girl for about 2 months now and things are great and we have a lot of fun, and there's something else though. I know that one of her close friends from high school is after her too, and they've been texting every day. She talks about him from time to time, basically letting you know who your potential replacement is, and she hangs out with him and his friends very often. And I have asked her if she was interested in him, and she said only as a friend. Obviously, of course, until she changes her mind. So I left the topic alone, and I continue to court her. And sometimes she's texting him from when I'm there, and I can't help but noticing that he sends her hearts and kisses through his text. Now, I'm usually not a jealous guy, but I really like this girl, and I want her to choose me instead of him. That's why you shouldn't act jealous, and you shouldn't bring this guy up, and you should give her the freedom to come and go as she pleases. Make sure she's doing 70 to 80% of the calling, texting, pursuing. Because I know in this particular case, your tendency is going to be to do more, to chase more, to pursue more, and that's the worst thing you can do. Because you'll literally drive her in the arms of this other dude. He says, I work with this girl and I see her every day too. My question to you is, what do I do to make her choose me instead of him? Be her best option. Hang out, have fun, and hook up when you hear from her. Don't call her more than once per week. If she calls you in between that time, make your next date. The phone is for setting dates. Let her wonder what you're doing and what you're up to. He says, I already purchased her book and I read it, but I still want your personal opinion on this situation. I know she's attracted to me too because she texts me every day and we still date once or twice a week. Please give me advice in this situation. Well, the worst thing you can do is start asking her about this other guy because it's going to make you look like you're insecure about it and like you feel like you don't deserve to be with her. And when a woman senses that, because you're in essence acting unsure of yourself when you do that, that's a feminine quality. It's not a masculine quality. Masculine energy is sure of itself and it goes for what it wants without fear. And if a woman happens to choose another guy over him, his attitude is, hey, it's your loss and you really feel that way. But you always leave the door open. If she decides to choose or date another guy, you say, hey, well, let me know if it doesn't work out because I'd love to see you, but I'm not interested in being your friend only. And that's how you handle it. But read my book because the information is in there on exactly what you should do. And if you don't have a copy of my book yet, you'd like to get a digital Kindle version or a paperback version, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there's a little digital image of my book, and if you click that, it'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page, and you can also select the paperback option as well. And if you'd like to book a paid phone coaching session with me, you can do that by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session or email coaching. And I will talk to you soon.